Some criminals don't need detectives. They come with built-in GPS and zero brain cells. 1. The selfie bank robber. Meet the criminal mastermind who robbed a bank, got away with it, then decided to post a smiling selfie with a fistful of cash on Facebook. The caption? About to make it rain. Within hours, his friends, and then the police, were raining all over his parade. The comment section became a live crime scene, with one user asking, "Isn't that the same hoodie from the security footage?" He was arrested the same day. Sometimes the only thing stolen is your own dignity. 2. The genius with the return policy. A man in Oregon tried to return a chainsaw to Home Depot. Normal, right? Except he'd just stolen it from the same store 15 minutes earlier. When staff pointed out there were still security tags on it, he claimed it was a defective model. Unfortunately for him, so was his brain. The police didn't even have to show up. They just waited for him to finish the refund form before cuffing him at the customer service desk. Talk about cutting to the chase. 3. The car thief who called tech support. In Florida, because of course it's Florida, a man stole a car but couldn't figure out how to start it. Turns out it was a keyless push-start model, and our hero didn't have the fob, so he called OnStar for help. He literally asked the car's remote assistance service how to get it running. Instead, OnStar politely connected him to law enforcement. He was still sitting inside the stolen car when they arrived, probably wondering why Siri was snitching on him. 4. The burglar who Googled how to be a burglar. You can't make this up. A 19-year-old in Kansas decided he wanted to be a career criminal. So he did what every modern genius does before making a terrible life choice. He Googled it. His search history literally included how to rob a house safely and how to not get caught by police. Spoiler, he got caught by police. They found his phone open on a Top 10 Tips for Burglars article while he was hiding in the victim's closet, right next to his flashlight, gloves, and an unwrapped candy bar. The cop said it best. At least he did his research. Shame he didn't read the part about leaving no evidence. 5. The guy who tried to rob a mime. In Paris, a man attempted to mug a street performer, a mime, thinking he was an easy target. Big mistake. The mime didn't say a word, obviously, but started miming the entire robbery in exaggerated detail for a crowd. Within minutes, an entire group of tourists was laughing and pointing at the thief as if it were part of the show. When the police arrived, they didn't even need a statement. Half of downtown Paris had filmed it. The robber got arrested in complete silence. That's what you call being caught red-handed and well-documented. 6. The man who left his name on the note. A man walked into a gas station in Kentucky with a note that said, "Give me all the money, I have a gun." The cashier handed over the cash, and the guy ran out, thinking he'd nailed it. But here's the twist. The note was written on the back of a piece of paper from his pay stub, complete with his full name and address. Police didn't need fingerprints, cameras, or witnesses. They literally just went to his house. When they knocked on the door, he asked, "How'd you find me?" They handed him the note. That's when he reportedly said, "Aw man, I knew I should have used a clean sheet." Yes, buddy. That's the problem. 7. The carjacker who couldn't drive. Stick a guy in Seattle tried to carjack a woman at a red light. He pulled her out, jumped in, slammed the door, and nothing. Turns out the car had a manual transmission, and he had no idea how to drive it. As he fumbled with the clutch like it was an alien control panel, the woman calmly walked to the sidewalk and called the cops. The thief was still inside, sweating and swearing when officers arrived. One cop later said, "He could have escaped if he'd passed driver's ed." Somewhere, every high school auto teacher felt a cosmic sense of satisfaction. 8. The burglar who fell asleep on the job. You know you've hit rock bottom as a criminal when your biggest enemy isn't the police. It's your own nap schedule. A man in Alabama broke into a home in broad daylight, ransacked the kitchen, made himself a sandwich, poured a glass of whiskey, and then decided to take a quick rest on the couch. When the homeowners returned, they found him snoring loudly, half a sandwich on his chest, and a remote still in his hand. The cops had to wake him up to arrest him. When asked why he didn't just leave, he said, "The couch was too comfy." Congratulations, sir. You didn't just get caught. You got caught napping on the evidence. 9. The thief who logged into Facebook. Some people steal valuables. Others just steal the spotlight. A man broke into a house in Minnesota, rummaged through the place, then for reasons no one will ever understand, sat down at the homeowner's computer to check Facebook. He logged into his account, scrolled a bit, liked a few memes, and forgot to log out. When the homeowners came back, they found his profile still open on the screen, complete with his name, photo, and recent "just chillin" status update. Police didn't need to track him down. He literally handed them his digital business card. That's not breaking and entering. That's breaking and networking. 10. The ATM robber who left his ID behind. This one's a masterpiece of multitasking failure. A man in Texas tried to pry open an ATM using a crowbar. When that didn't work, he decided to blow it open with fireworks. The explosion didn't open the ATM. It opened his wallet. His ID flew out and landed neatly on the sidewalk. Security footage later showed him frantically patting his pockets, then sprinting away while his driver's license flapped behind him like a flag of surrender. Cops arrived minutes later, picked up the ID, and said, "Guess we'll start with this guy." Imagine committing a felony, and the evidence introduces itself. 11. The guy who tried to hide from police in his own closet. A man in Georgia tried to escape police after robbing a gas station. He ran home, kicked in his own back door, and decided to hide in his bedroom closet. The issue? He left a trail of muddy footprints from the street, through his house, and straight into the closet. When police entered, one officer literally followed the prints like a cartoon detective until they stopped at the door. They opened it, and there he was, standing perfectly still, holding his breath, as if invisibility could be achieved through sheer stupidity. The cop said, "Peekaboo," before arresting him. Sometimes the best hiding place is anywhere but your own closet. 12. The robber who brought his resume. This one is so dumb it almost feels like performance art. A man in California walked into a small convenience store, pulled out a note demanding money, then, for some reason, decided to hand the cashier a copy of his resume to prove he's serious. The note said, "This is a robbery," while the resume included his full name, phone number, and previous job at Taco Bell. The cashier calmly said, "Let me get the manager," and pressed the silent alarm. The guy waited patiently, still standing there holding his resume, until police arrived. When they cuffed him, he said, "So, I didn't get the job?" "No, my friend. You got a new role. Lead idiot in Criminals Anonymous." 13. The guy who robbed a store. During a job interview. A man in Illinois went to a gas station for a legitimate job interview. He chatted with the manager, filled out an application, and even shook hands. All very professional. But then, moments after the interview ended, he returned wearing a mask and demanded cash from the same manager who had just spoken to him. The problem? He hadn't even left the parking lot. Security cameras captured his arrival, his unmasked interview, and his very short career as a masked bandit, all in one continuous video. The police arrested him within the hour. When asked why he robbed the same store, he said, "Well, I already knew where the register was." That's not efficiency. That's self-sabotage with a resume. 14. The bank robber who used a transparent bag. You'd think step 1 of how to rob a bank would be, don't let anyone see what's in your bag. Not for this innovator. A man in Ohio handed a teller a note demanding cash and a clear plastic grocery bag to fill it. The teller calmly slipped in some bills and a GPS tracker right in front of him. He then ran outside, proudly holding up his see-through loot bag like he'd just won The Price is Right. Police followed the blinking tracker signal right to his motel room 15 minutes later. When they knocked, he tried hiding the bag under a glass coffee table. "Congratulations, sir. You just reinvented the concept of open and shut case." 15. The guy who called the cops on himself. Some people panic under pressure. Others just skip straight to self-arrest. A man in Michigan accidentally pocket-dialed 911 while bragging to his friend about stealing copper wire from a construction site. The dispatcher stayed on the line for 6 glorious minutes, recording every incriminating detail: the location, what they took, even where they planned to sell it. Police arrived before he even finished the sentence. "We're totally getting away with this." When officers pulled up, he said, "Man, how'd you find us so fast?" The cop replied, "You literally called us." It's one thing to confess your crimes, it's another to live stream them to law enforcement. 16. The getaway driver. Who forgot to get away in Pennsylvania, 2 men robbed a convenience store while their driver waited outside. The plan was simple: grab the cash and run. Except when the robbers sprinted out, their driver was gone. Turns out he got nervous, decided to drive around the block, and couldn't find his way back. The robbers, still holding the money and wearing ski masks, stood outside awkwardly for several minutes until the police arrived. The best part? The driver eventually returned, just in time to get arrested too. When asked why he left, he said, "I didn't want to look suspicious." Buddy, driving away, is the suspicious part. Criminal coordination, 0. Comedy value, 10 out of 10. 17. The burglar who took a bathroom break. Sometimes nature calls at the worst possible time, like in the middle of a burglary. A man broke into a house in Denver and, mid-robbery, decided to use the toilet. Unfortunately, he took his time, long enough for the homeowners to return. They found the bathroom door locked, heard noises, and called 911. The police arrived, kicked down the door, and there he was, pants down, surrounded by stolen jewelry, mid-scroll on his phone. He tried to explain he was just looking for a quiet place to go, and he found one, a jail cell with plenty of time to reflect on the phrase "caught with your pants down." 18. The drunk guy who tried to pay with a raccoon, Ohio, strikes again. A man, after a night at the bar, attempted to settle his tab with a live raccoon. He insisted the critter was worth at least $20. The bartender, clearly unprepared for this form of currency, declined. The man stormed out, leaving both his dignity and the raccoon behind. The real crime? Believing anyone would accept a raccoon as legal tender. Somewhere in that town, the raccoon is probably the wealthiest resident. 19. The woman who filed a missing person report on herself in Wisconsin. A man so drunk he couldn't find himself called 911 to report it, that he was missing. The dispatcher asked where he was, and he replied, "If I knew that, I wouldn't be missing." Police eventually found him sitting on his own porch, clutching his phone like it was a compass. Moral of the story: sometimes your own brain is the most elusive criminal element. 20. The drunk tourist who helped search for herself. A Canadian tourist in Iceland spent hours helping the police search for a missing woman, only to realize she was the one they were looking for. She'd gotten so lost in her own night out that she was part of her own rescue operation. Hours later, she finally identified herself, turning a heroic search into a hilariously ironic self-arrest. 21. The drunk man who tried to hug a tiger, New Zealand, nightlife edition. A man broke into a zoo after drinking, convinced he could hug a tiger. The tiger disagreed. The man escaped with scratches, shame, and a lifelong ban. His excuse? It looked cuddly. Evolution would like to remind you, some animals bite, even when your judgment is impaired. 22. The woman who stole a kayak for Taco Bell. Canada's finest, apparently, also likes fast food. A woman drunkenly stole a kayak to go to Taco Bell. The problem? No Taco Bell existed within 50 miles, and she couldn't swim. Rescue came halfway across a lake. Her crime? Ill-advised, yes. Her logic? Flawless at 2 a.m. 23. The Christmas light criminal. Your lingering holiday spirit might cost you. Leaving Christmas lights up past the city-approved date in certain neighborhoods can earn fines. One overly festive homeowner discovered that twinkling into February wasn't just lazy, it was illegal. The moral? Sometimes enthusiasm gets you arrested before the cops even taste the eggnog. 24. The beach day fraudster. Some people take a sick day to relax, others take it to commit a minor crime. One employee faked a sick day to spend hours on the beach. Technically, using paid leave under false pretenses is fraud. She returned to work sunburned, sandy, and blissfully unaware that her tan had just made her a criminal in the eyes of HR. The lesson? Sometimes the perfect beach day comes with paperwork you didn't bargain for. 25. The snowball fell in Aspen. Colorado has a unique approach to winter fun. Snowballs can be considered weapons. One innocent snowball fight turned into a criminal affair when thrown at the wrong person. A frosty misdemeanor? Absolutely. Moral of the story, your wholesome winter fun can be one bad throw away from assault charges. 26. The headphone hazard driver. Driving with headphones in both ears might feel like multitasking perfection, but in many states, it's illegal. One commuter, blissfully lost in true crime podcasts, was unknowingly endangering everyone around him. Turns out, your personal entertainment can make you the most wanted criminal on the road, without even leaving the music on shuffle. 27. The raffle ringleader. Running a small charity raffle seems innocent, until state gaming laws get involved. One local bake sale's $50 gift basket triggered a full investigation for being an unlicensed lottery. The organizer went from community hero to accidental felon in a single, well-meaning afternoon. Kindness, it turns out, can come with fines. 28. The criminal who basically called the cops on himself. Our grand finale is a man who stole a car, couldn't drive it, and then called the police for help on himself. Florida, of course. The dispatcher guided him straight to law enforcement while he was still fumbling with the keys. He ended up arrested in the exact car he had taken, proving that sometimes the most elaborate heist requires no detective at all, just zero common sense. The ultimate self-arrest. From raccoons as currency to self-reporting criminals, humans excel at outsmarting themselves. Which one deserves the dumbest criminal crown? Tell us in the comments, if you're not too busy checking your own key fobs.